All right, so in this video, we're gonna cover a few ways that you can move to your right while throwing your offense at the same time. And there are about 3 or 4 major reasons why you would want to do that. Number one, if you are an outside fighter dealing with pressure fighters who are trying to get on the inside, pressure fighters often, especially if they are newer, especially if they don't have a lot of experience, have a hard time getting past someone who's throwing a long jab and moving to the right. Typically because as they're coming through you or towards you, moving their head, you're fading away from them. You're fading away, and where most of your targets are, they're closed off. So you're moving this way as they're trying to break through. So often, what the pressure fighter is going to do is try to come around to the backside, outside of your jab, to which it's easy for you to continue going the direction that you're going. Or if they try to come in and cut in this way, they're walking into your shots as they're coming in, so you have to make extra room to come in. So what they'll typically have to do is find a way to move their head and feet at the same time to blitz through you and come straight at you and attack the openings. And of course it can be done. An experienced fighter can do this, but it's difficult. And if you are an outside fighter, good with your hands and your feet, you can keep a pressure fighter at bay, throwing and moving to the right. The next reason why this is also very effective is it works well against southpaws on the alternate angle. So typically we talk about getting orthodox outside foot, outside the lead foot of the southpaw. Same thing for southpaws. You're trying to get your outside foot here on the outside. Moving inside is an alternate angle, and you've seen Mayweather work this against southpaws, working the jab. You've seen Roy Jones step over, throw the right hand off the jab. So we're going to go over a few examples that will also work on cutting the inside angle against a southpaw. Now, a third reason to be able to throw while moving to the right is also just to be a little bit unorthodox, to show your opponent something they're not used to seeing, and to set up the angle. When you throw, you're able to work and shift your feet and set up the angle. Of course, there are other ways. In my other videos, we've talked about setting up the angle with the right hand and setting up different kinds of angles with shifts. Here we're going to do it off the shot, moving to the right with the shot, set up the angle. Another fourth way that's very effective is if you're good at moving backwards, you can move backwards and fade to your right, which I'll break down, set up an angle and a shot. So basically you're setting up the angle as you move back and creating distance at the same time. Okay, so the first example is to be able to throw the jab while moving to your right. Now, just to clarify a few things about footwork. In this example, you are going to be stepping over like this, a little bit forward and over. Now, some people, if they don't have much experience with boxing, are going to say that this is crossing your legs, but this is not crossing your legs. This is cross-walking or stepping over. Crossing your legs is this, or crossing your legs is this. That's crossing your legs. And the crossing your legs thing is not one of these things where a coach is going to tell an experienced fighter, don't cross your legs, because an experienced fighter already knows this. Don't cross your legs is really a guideline for beginners, because if you get a beginner and you don't give them some guidelines, a beginner is literally going to pull an MC Hammer right in the middle of the ring. So you have to give beginners guidelines, otherwise they're going to do some crazy stuff. So here, when we're working this jab, you're going to be coming across like this, and that's fine, because you're still in a good, strong position. You're just moving over to the right. And if you guys want, I can show you examples of this from pro fighters. All you gotta do is watch some boxing, you're gonna see this. Okay, so the first example, I wanna jab while moving to my right. Still with the jab normally, I wanna close the gap. The way to close the gap with the jab is I gotta take that little step forward. I gotta get into range. So here I go, here's the basic footwork. Jab, jab, jab. It's almost like I'm on a circle and I'm tracing the circle. So here I go, jab, jab, jab. You can see I'm moving a little bit forward and a little bit to the right. If I move forward, I'm gonna have more steam on my shot. I'm gonna have more juice on my shot. If I move perfectly to the right, I'm only gonna really have arm power, not body power. So I can move straight to the right, or I can move a little bit forward with it, and that's gonna have a little bit more power because the body is a little bit behind it as I go to the right and I go forward at the same time. Now, another thing that I like to do is make a vertical fist this way, because then that way the outside edge of my fist is hitting with the biggest knuckle. If I throw the jab like this, there's a chance I'm going to hit with the pinky on the edge unless I'm really driving it straight in. So typically what I like to do is as I move to the right, throw, and at the same time, step through and keep my fist vertical. So here, slow again. All right? So if I work that on the bag, all right, so there I am working the jab on the bag, moving to the right. As well, you saw me open up with the right hand as I was throwing that jab. It's also important, again, you want to set up the right hand. You want to be coming a little bit forward with the jab. If I'm going to go straight to the right, I don't have much on that jab, that's fine. When I want to throw this right hand, I got to let that foot come out a little bit further so my hip has room to move. Not much, just enough so that my hip has room to turn. I go here, one, boom. If I want to throw that right hand, if I've got the range moving across, it's better if I'm moving to the right and forward along my arc, because then when I move my right foot out, I'm actually kind of bringing it forward a little bit, and that's going to give me much more balance and more power in my shot. It's just going to feel better. So I go slowly, one, two, and here I've got the angle, and let the right hand go, and then I can keep going to the right if I want. So a little bit quicker. If you want to set up, working the jab and turn the right hand over, I come forward with it. I take this right foot on the step as I go one, and I bring it out and forward. Now, like I said, this isn't something you're going to be doing all the time, but it throws your opponent a curveball. You use it in different situations. It's nice to have in your arsenal, in your bag of tricks. You work it on the bag, same idea. I go here, boom, and then on the next one, boom, boom, and step my right foot out. So you can see how I'm moving that right foot out more to create space to throw the shot. I go across, one, two. One more variation, it's a little bit different. If you want to go forward and create more pressure and an angle, is to drop this right foot out. So after you jab, you drop and come forward. You sort of almost fall into it. So here it would look like this slowly. One, two, three, or 1, 1, 2. So I'll work it on the bag for a little bit. So you see what I mean with dropping that back leg to get an angle and come in. So those are a few methods that you can use to set up your right hand, to keep someone off of you, to cut inside a little bit on the southpaw, mainly offensive tactics. The next one is to set up an angle with your offense together. It's fairly common. The shot itself, where you move to the right, isn't really a big deal. It's the angle that it sets up so that you can throw more offense from a safe position. And simply enough, it goes like this. I go here, I throw my right hand, or I could throw 1, 2, and I'm gonna shift over on my left hook. Boom, like so. Boom, boom, boom. The whole key is that I get my head just outside of the left shoulder of my opponent, just away from the danger zone, out here. Also, it's nice if I move forward a little bit, I'm safer there. If I go here, I'm gonna have a hard time reaching, and I'm gonna be right in front of my opponent. So what I wanna do is I wanna come forward and cut here, so they're there. Boom, 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 up the middle. Set the left hook on a shift. And all you do is work it nice and easy. You could go here, right hand, and I'm gonna go in on a 45-degree angle, hook, right hand. So on the bag, easy enough. Here I am, and then I can open up from that angle. See how I use that to set up the angle, to set up more offense from that angle. Okay, so the next example won't work as well in the bag because we're going to be moving backwards with it. But it still allows you to throw your offense while moving to the right and back on an angle. Basic boxing footwork, moving back, you're going to fade out to the right. So you know already if you're going to move back, boom, boom, or here, here. Or if you do it quickly, it's a little more of a skip. So now all I'm going to do instead is just fade out this way. Boom, boom, boom. Now when I throw that right hand, if I want to keep moving, I will step that foot back while I throw the right. So here I go. And that's the same as the drill that you would learn fundamental boxing moving backwards with your punching, which would be here. Moving backwards, fundamentals drill. I'm going to move back and to the right. Again, this will also work against an aggressive southpaw. If you cover, you really just got to worry about their left hand. You cover, boom, boom. Works vice versa the other way. It's the same technique McGregor used with the left hand against Jose Aldo, except McGregor just moves straight back, boom, as opposed to on an angle. So in this case, we're going to move back on an angle. Here, boom. If I want to be more aggressive, then, or in other words, more of an angle, all depends on what's going on with your opponent, what you can create. Here, boom. Okay, so moving back and to the right. with that. And it all starts from here. See, I can move back into the right with my basic footwork. Right, left, right, left, right, right, left. And then you're just gonna cut it more intensely. Back and to the right. So most of your offense is gonna come straight in with fakes, level changes, different combinations, counter punches. Classic if you're orthodox, moving to the outside, moving clockwise. But to add a little bit of variety, create different angles, put different types of pressure on your opponent, especially if they're an infighter. These are a number of ways you can move to the right while throwing offense and set up further offense. You can mix it up, add some variety, have more tools in your toolbox, moving to the right, setting up your offense. All right, guys, I hope you liked that video. And if you want more instruction, more instructional stuff, you know, I've got a whole ton more on my website, precisionstriking.com. Also, recently, I was in New York City, did my first live seminar there in person in NYC, had a blast, had a great time, had an amazing crew, and I'm gonna be posting a few more clips from what happened there. And I think I got a few more seminars that I wanna plan coming up. London in August. I've already got a place booked, but I haven't promoted it or done any sales of the tickets, etc. But if you're in London and thinking you might wanna come out to my seminar, then leave a comment below on some stuff you might like to see in that. Also, Philly, Philadelphia, there's potential for that in June or September. We'll see what goes down. Those are a couple spots that I have coming up. All right, I hope you really appreciate that video. Thanks for watching. Peace.